Hey, everybody, what is going on? It's your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome, everybody, to Steelers Almighty. Appreciate everybody being in here this morning, man. Day two of Pittsburgh Steelers mandatory minicamp is in the books. We're going to discuss some things from that today. We got a good show here for you. First off, we're going to start off, though, with the national media. Just it has become pretty clear that the national media have turned the Steelers into cannon fodder, and now it's they should have tanked. I don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. They just needed to tank. We're going to discuss that next. Balanced offense. Arthur Smith has come out, and Aaron Rodgers. They basically have come out and said, you know what, this offense needs to be balanced. We ran the ball a lot last year. They're going to discuss. They brought in Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. I would imagine they're not going to try to run the ball 70% of the time. So we'll discuss that. And then not necessarily a huge surprise, but Calvin Austin III has been mentioned as wide receiver number 2 as of right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll discuss that and more. I appreciate you guys getting up with me this morning, man. Thank you guys. As always, remember to like, follow, subscribe. Almost at 8,000 subscribers. Want to try to get there today. So if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do. Got a lot to talk about. Should be a fun show. You know the deal. Again, we've got our members that are already in here. Ms. Felicia, how's it going? We have Mr. Vaughn who's in. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn, for showing up for us today. We got a lot to go over. And again, as always, if you guys want to get your comment, question, or rant up on the screen, super chats are wide open. Memberships are wide open. The merch store is wide open. Steelers Almighty, man, we are headed upward. That's because of you guys. I want to thank you. Let's get this thing going. So, first things first, let's talk about this national media. Nick Wright, who, look, I understand the entertainment value of television. I 100% get it. Hell, I have an entertainment value on this channel as well. But sometimes you have to, you can't sacrifice credibility for it. And sometimes Nick Wright does that. Now, in this case, when he goes off on a rant about the Steelers, to be honest with you, I don't think he's sacrificing credibility, because there's a lot of you out there that say, and when I say you, us fans, that say the Steelers should tank. And that's what Nick Wright said. Colin Cowherd jumped on that. I mean, he's a notorious Steelers hater. He doesn't like the organization. He doesn't like Mike Tomlin. He doesn't like the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, which is fine. But Nick Wright saying the Steelers should have tanked. They should have never traded for DK Metcalf. That was number one. They should have traded George Pickens, which they did. They should trade TJ Watt. They should have never brought in Aaron Rodgers. Tank is the thing. That they should have went all in on tanking. And my whole thing is, first off, they didn't do that. So let's talk about reality. Y'all know how big I am on talking about reality. That I don't like talking about things that hypothetical football. I don't do that. It's like, let's talk about some reality here and things that could possibly happen. But let's not talk about things that they didn't do. Oh, well, they should have. Well, nobody cares. We're past that. Okay. But the Steelers don't tank. And I'm still trying to understand, for the life of me, whether it's fans, whether it's media members, and we haven't even heard the media say this. Why? And I'm not the only person who says this and who believes this. How hard is it to understand that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in rebuild mode? They have been rebuilding while remaining relevant. Why is that such a difficult thing to say? Or why is that such a difficult thing to believe and understand? That's what the Steelers are doing. And they've been doing that. Now, yes, it takes longer to rebuild while you're still winning football games. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And to a lot of fans, that's frustrating because they're like, oh, look, we're not able to win in the playoffs, but we keep getting there. So we're not winning in the playoffs, but we're not losing bad enough to have these high draft picks. Yeah, I get that. And that could be frustrating. I totally understand. But the Steelers are winning football games. I don't know. I just, because here's the thing. As much cannon fodder that Mike Tomlin gets, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying that he gets for when the Steelers aren't winning. What would the conversation be if the Steelers went in the tank? Just think about it. If the last 2 years the Steelers just said, we can't win. We're just going to tank. I mean, they would literally show up to training camp, OTA with pitchforks to get Mike Tomlin out of there. As loud as it can be at sometimes about him, that's what it would be. They would blame it all on him. It would be all his fault. That's why they stink. Even though the organization as a whole has said, hey, man, we got to start over. And when you start over, it is never the head coach's fault. You can't just blame it all on the head coach and say, hey, man, we got to start over, and it's your fault. No, that's not how this works. I'm not saying he doesn't have blame, but it would never be his fault. So at some point that you just have to understand, the Steelers said, no, we're going to rebuild. We're just not going to lose to do it. Now, a lot of times, and I'll take the devil's advocate to this, some teams have won Super Bowls in recent memory, tanked, and now they're back because they tanked. The Los Angeles Rams come to mind. The Rams went all in to win a Super Bowl. Y'all remember what the Rams did? They went all in. Got into some salary cap trouble. Got bailed out because Aaron Donald decided to retire. That helped them. And I know that's crazy to say. How the hell does Aaron Donald retiring help you? Because while they took a salary cap hit 1 year, they didn't have to take it for multiple years. And they got out. They traded guys. They were bad, but they had a quarterback. And that's the difference. They had a quarterback. And so they were able to get back quickly. And the Rams are Super Bowl contenders again. But everybody doesn't have to do that. Everybody doesn't have to tank to become good. And the best example of that would be, the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at the Chiefs were a playoff team. The Chiefs went from, I think it was 30 to 10 to draft Patrick Mahomes. And again, the Chiefs were a playoff team. This wasn't a team that was terrible. They didn't stink. They weren't bad. They just identified a guy that they said, you know what? We can win, and we're going to move up in this draft. We don't care what we got to give up. This is the guy. And they remained good. Now, they were bad before Andy Reid got there, but then they brought in Alex Smith as the quarterback. So the Chiefs were good. They didn't tank. Think about those nasty-ass rat birds, the Ravens. The Ravens got their quarterback. They didn't tank. Like, the Ravens didn't stink, but they identified who they wanted as a quarterback, and you could blame that. You can blame that on whoever you want, whether it's Mike Tomlin, whether it's Kevin Colbert, whether it's Art Rooney II, whether it's Omar Khan. These guys, they identified a quarterback, and they said, let's go get the guy. And they traded back into the first round and got Lamar Jackson. So you don't have to tank. You don't have to stink, ladies and gentlemen, to find, number one, to find your franchise quarterback. And the Steelers are just saying, no, we're going to remain relevant. We're going to continue winning football games. Because as much as we say it as fans, well, I just want to stink. I could deal with us being terrible. No, you couldn't. No, you could not. Don't lie to yourself. You would not be able to handle if the Steelers went 5-12. I wouldn't be able to handle it. And I mean, look, I'm on record saying I don't think it's a horrible idea. I don't want to tank, but if the Steelers had to do that, or if they did do that for a year, I wouldn't be devastated. But going through that 5-12 season, do you know how mad I would be? Seeing us lose games that I know we should be winning. Yeah, I would be frustrated. And so would you. So we can't sit here and act like going 5-12, and because then you would start pointing the finger. And I don't mean just you, us as fans, we would start pointing the finger. We would be pointing the finger at Tomlin. He's got to go. We would be pointing the finger at Omar Khan. He's got to go. Art Rooney II. He's got to sell the team. That's all we would be talking about. That's all we would be talking about is how all three of those got to go. A total reset for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's after one losing season. The problem with tanking, and I say this all the time, and some people like it, some people don't, but it's the truth, is that if you tank, there is no guarantee that you get out of it. For instance, I mean, I don't know if you would say the Cleveland Browns actually tanked. Their organization is just a dumpster fire. But what's the consistency of them? The Browns are habitually bad. Better example, look at the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins tanked for several years. And, I mean, hell, they came out, they got draft picks taken away because of it. I mean, they got in trouble. They were tanking. Hell, they fired Brian Flores because he didn't want to tank, but the organization made him tank. And then they fired him. Look at that franchise. You don't just get out of it because you want to get out of it. What have they made? One playoff appearance in a decade? Like the Dolphins, you could habitually be that just circling the toilet bowl. You may not go down the drain like the Cleveland Browns, but the toilet has been flushed and you're just circling around the toilet bowl. That's what we could be. To me, I'm not that, hey, what's going on, Forever 21? I am not that guy. So that's the whole point. Torsia, you're dead wrong about the Steelers not hitting on first-round draft picks. Come on, man. Let's not be that. So, but that's the whole thing. The whole, well, we're just going to tank and we'll just bounce right back out of it. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't just bounce right back out of it. So being a consistent franchise, says Treetop, being a consistent franchise with a strong culture is a better recipe than tanking. Exactly. Because, again, when you tank, you're basically saying you don't have the fortitude to deal with what you have to deal with. Well, we're just going to stink. So, I don't know. And that's the whole problem, is that I don't think anybody says the Steelers are going to stink or would be okay with the Steelers stinking. And you think the national media is crazy now? Let the Steelers go 5-12. Yeah, for the most part, you don't hear people on ESPN or Fox or anywhere really talking about Mike Tomlin isn't the coach for the Steelers. Let that happen. Let them go 5-12. They would turn on him in a heartbeat, even though that's what they're saying that he should do. So Q276 has a good comment. Said, Big B, just saying no Steeler fan would put up with. 2, the organization would be embarrassed. 3, the players would be discouraged to play hard. Once you lose, that the damage will be irreversible. That's exactly right. You can't just predict that the Pittsburgh Steelers, that they're just going to bounce right out of tanking. I'm just telling you, it's just not it's not wise. Let's just say that. It's not a situation that you just want to say that you can, because number one, you can't guarantee you're going to come out of it. And it puts a culture and a mentality that the Steelers just don't need to have. Now, you can be bad. Don't get me wrong. Look, if you just got a bunch of bad players and none of them hit, and you just, hey, man, we have to start over because everybody that we chose, the people we brought in, like the team literally isn't any good. That's a different situation. That is a totally different situation. You know, that the picks that you had, the free agents you brought in, you have a ton of injuries. If that happens, that's different than just saying, well, we're trading Watt, we're trading George Pickens, we're not going to bring anybody else in, and Mason Rudolph's going to be the quarterback no matter what. Better yet, we're going to play Will Howard. He's a 6th-round pick. That's just what we're doing, and we're just moving on. That's totally different. Not to mention, they would probably trade Cam Hayward at the trade deadline because, hey, why keep Cam if we're not trying to win? Why keep Minka if you're not trying to win? Just throwing all that stuff out there. I think tanking is a terrible idea. Again, if the Steelers just stink, okay. You know, I'm not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy. None of us are going to be happy. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, is that there's a difference between tanking and just being bad. There's a huge difference, people, because if you're just bad, you can bounce back from it. If you tank, there ain't no guarantee you come back from that. That's the difference. What's going on, S. Palmer? Thank you for joining us this morning. So, Derek Grinder's got a good point, says if you tank, that means you suck all the way around. I think it's different, Derek. I think if you tank, that means you're quitting. You're not trying. And that is the part that's not the Steelers. You know, you can be bad. Like I mentioned, if we're bad because the players aren't any good, you know, we have a rash of injuries, you know, all that kind of stuff. If we're just bad, then it is what it is. If we're just bad and we're not any good, okay, fine. That's something totally different. But tanking means you didn't even try. Well, that's not Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not a team that doesn't try. We're not an organization that doesn't try. We've never been an organization that doesn't try. And that's what you would be asking for. So that's what you would be asking for, is for us to just give up, don't try, and that becomes difficult, you know. Now, granted, Steeler fans are going to be Steeler fans, but how do you get out of that? How do you explain that to the diehards that are like, hey man, why are you not trying to win? And don't tell me you're trying to win when you get rid of all the best players. Don't tell me you're trying to win. I mean, you can tell that lie to somebody else. We see us fans, we know the difference. We know the difference. And people are not going to be on. I know we say we're going to be on board with that. No, we're just not, man. We're not. So we're not. We're not going to be that. So that's the difference. That's the difference, is that we're not going to be okay with that. We're just not. So until we are, until we maximize everything out there, we'll see. Steeler Lee comes in. There's too much of a culture in place by generations of Hall of Famers to ever ask the Steelers to tank on the season. That right there, Steeler Lee. There's too much. There's too much. And I guess that my question is, and I'm really asking you, Chet. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. The Steelers made the playoffs last year. Now, in the previous 2 playoff appearances, you could say the Steelers backed in because they needed like 4 different things to happen on the last day of the season for us to get into the playoffs. Okay, to me, that's backing into the playoffs. Last year, the Steelers didn't back in. Now, we were playing lousy at the end of the year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But we had done the work to get into the playoffs before that. Because remember, we won 10 games. You know, We were 10-3 at one point. So we had done the work. So we made it. Now, we ended the season terrible. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But how far away were we from because you remember, if we win the Cincinnati game, we go to Houston to play a playoff game, and I give the Steelers a big chance to beat Houston. Now, we didn't do it. Hey, let's not talk about what didn't happen. I'm the first person to say that. But how far away were we actually from winning? I don't think we were in the class of Baltimore, the Chiefs, or the Bills. We weren't in their same class. But I think we were in the class of the Houston Texans. Now, we may not have won the game, but we could have went to Houston and competed. Hell, the other playoff team, what was it, the Broncos or the Chargers? I mean, we beat both of them. So that's what I'm saying here. It's like there were 7 teams in the playoffs last year. The Steelers didn't beat the Chiefs, okay? They didn't play the Bills. We beat the Ravens. I think we're in the same class as the Texans. We beat the Broncos and the Chargers. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I'm way off base. But I don't think we were that far away. That's the thing. So, we're not that far away. So, that's the difference. That is the difference. So, jumping Jehoshaphat, we get it, man. You don't like the Steelers. We understand, brother. We get it. We get it. So, that's the difference. And they're not getting rid of Mike Tomlin, feel that steal. That isn't happening. So, until that happens, we got to get on board. We got to get on board. So, S. Palmer said, not realistic for the team to tank. Can't imagine any of the core players would go along with that. That's the whole thing, including Tomlin. They'd have to trade guys. They would have to, and I think that would be part of tanking, S. Palmer. I think that would be part of it, is that they would have to trade guys that don't want it. So, that would be the difference. That would be the difference. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Tanking, I just don't think is in the Steelers' DNA, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that's something that the Steelers are ever going to do. So, I don't think that's something that's ever going to happen. So, as Palmer says, moving back up here, he said, Big B, it was a report by Matt Williamson that AR checks out of run plays. The Jets were last in the league in run plays. Thoughts? We're going to get to that literally here right now. And that's what your super chat was. Absolutely. We are literally going to talk about that. You must have been reading my mind. Your ears must have been burning. Thank you, number one, for the super chat. We appreciate your supporting the channel. But that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now. A balanced offense. So, Arthur has come out and talked about the Steelers need to have a balanced offense. You know, the Steelers ran the ball. They had the 4th most attempts last year. But the problem is we just didn't run it very well. The things that we did, we averaged 4.1 yards a carry. Some people think that's great. It's like 24th, I think, or 26th in the league. It's not great. You know, we have to have better efficiency when we do run the football. Some of that was Najee. Some of that's the offensive line. Some of it's the play calling and play design. It's never just one person, but we got to have balance. The thing that I like is that Arthur Smith literally came out at the press conference yesterday, said, we didn't bring Aaron Rodgers here. We didn't sign DK to all that money to come out and run the wishbone. Love it. Love it. And, you know, this report that came out talking about Aaron Rodgers checks to pass plays, I don't think that's necessarily the truth. I think that's some of that's malarkey. Now, I do think he checks and he wants to get into the right play, but to check and just to throw the football all the time, I don't think that's necessarily the case, because if they could run the ball and win, they would have done that. Jets couldn't run the ball last year. And it wasn't because they did. Now, they ran it 170 less times than the Steelers, but think why they ran the ball. The Jets were behind all year. Well, if you're behind constantly, are you trying to run to catch up if you're down 10 points, or are you throwing the ball? It's pretty simple, you know? So it's pretty simple. They're going to throw it. So it's they you check out of plays to get into a better play. I'm confident Aaron Rodgers is going to get into the right play. The right play, whether it's run or pass. Get into the right play. Isn't that what we've been asking our quarterbacks to be able to do? Now we've got reports, and people are going to hang on to this. Well, he checks to a bunch of run play or a bunch of pass plays because he wants to throw the ball. I'm like, well, damn. We want a quarterback that can get us in and out of the right play. And now that the quarterback's getting us into the right play, we're going to complain about what that play is? Come on, people. We can't. I mean, we haven't even played it down yet. We can't lean on that. I'm not listening to any of that nonsense, and neither should you. Neither should you. Don't listen to any of it. Don't listen to any of it. That's the whole thing. Just don't listen to the nonsense. Let it happen. And if it does happen, let's jump all over it. You know what I'm saying? And when it does happen, then let's beat the hell out of it. What the hell are you doing? Get into the right play. Stop doing this. Like last year, we jumped all over. Why do you keep calling these toss plays when, number one, Najee Harris can't run them, and number two, we can't seem to block it right? Why do you keep calling these toss plays? In the all 22 that we do breakdown of every game with the offensive line, I showed you guys several times a toss play. I'm like, look, one guy not making the block, this thing breaks. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The one guy doesn't do his job. I mean, you could say the one guy doesn't do his job at a factory and the damn thing blows up or burns to the ground. If one guy doesn't do his job, it doesn't matter if everybody else does his job. One guy doesn't block, the play gets blown up. And that was consistent. It wasn't a one-off. It was consistently we could not block it. And the question that we kept getting is, why? Why do we consistently call this play? And when it worked, it's like, holy cow, this is good when it works. But it was so few and far between. So let's hang on to that. Hey, man, if you can't get the Steelers in and out of the right play, number one, should you even be playing? That's first. But if you can't do that, let's beat them up when it happens. Let's not, and I get the question and I get the premise, but that's just a reporter throwing something out there, some cannon fodder to talk about. So, hey, Mr. Dodd, how you doing, Mr. Leonard Dodd? We appreciate you showing up, my man. So that's all. That's all it is. So the bottom line is that let's not just beat up the Steelers to beat them up. Let's wait until we have something to beat them up about. Does that make sense? People throw out stuff all the time. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, and Kenneth Jones, you're right. A better back might overcome a bad block. Correct. And that's the difference, is that sometimes it's the back, sometimes it's the line, sometimes it's the play design, the play call. It's never one person's fault. Never is, never will be. You can't say that. It's collectively. You have to be better. And if collectively you can't all get on the same page, at some point you just have to scrap that page and go to something else. That would be the thing. So that would be the thing. So Mark Malone says, shit, I might even be able to stop drinking and start working out serious again. Okay. I get it. I get it. So I just think the offense is going to look better. I think the offense is going to look better. So that's it. That's it. So, oh, goodness. Let me do that. Whew. All right. So that's the thing. I'm excited to see what the offense looks like this year, people. I want to see what Rodgers can do. I want to see what DK can do. You know, I want to see this offensive line get better. It may not get better. It may not be better. But I want to see if it can get better. That's what I want to see. I want to see if it can get better. You know, I'm excited about it. So I'm excited about it. Kenneth says that I think Rodgers will make everybody focus. I do too. The thing that I think Rodgers is going to do, I think he's going to make the wide receivers better because, you know, the wide receivers are like, look, if you do your job and you do it correctly, you may get the football. I don't think that's been the case in Pittsburgh over the last 3 or 4 years. I don't think it was a case of, oh, hey, if I run my route, I could get the ball. I think that it was, okay, the play's supposed to go here, it's going to go there. If not, check it down. I mean, how many times did you see a Pittsburgh Steeler, okay, the play's supposed to go left, we're throwing the ball left. You know what? We're going to come all the way back to the other side of the field and throw it right. How often did that happen? It was, hey, I got 2 receivers left, 1, 2, not open, check it down. Now, part of that is the offensive line got to give you some damn time. That's part of it. But also, you have to be able to process information quickly. That's part of what a quarterback does. Process the information, understand, and be able to read quickly. 1, 2, not there. Let's go to 3. Okay, then check down. Not just, oh, okay, the main guy's not there. Let's just throw it to the back. Let's just dump it off to Freiermuth, who was chip blocking on the play. Let's just throw it to him. You know, that's the whole thing, is that we got to be able, we will have a quarterback that can process the information quickly. Now, again, I've said it from the very beginning, the line has got to be a huge part of that and is going to be the most important piece, which it usually is. Because if you have a good line, you can have average quarterback play. You're not winning a Super Bowl that way, but you can win a whole lot of games, including playoff games, when you have a really good line. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So Steeler Lee says, I think Warren and Johnson will have much better yards per carry than Najee with the same line from last year for the most part. And it's because the line should be better. I know there was people in here the other day that argued, well, the line isn't going to be better. I'm like, how do you know? Like, don't guys get better? Like, nobody ever gives grace for guys getting better. They always say, well, this is what you were your first year in the league. That's all you're ever going to be. This is what you are. And I'm like, well, damn. Nobody gets better? Like, you come into the league as a Hall of Famer and that's it? Like, you didn't have to work and get better? I'm just like, man. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of guys where you don't get better, where you're worse. But those guys get run out of the league. But damn, at least give guys an opportunity. The thought process is you get better from year to year. Uh-oh. Oh, Mr. Leonard died. Became a member again. Thank you, Mr. Dodd. We appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate the support. And I know you always support us, man. Thank you very much. But look, this is what I'm talking about by getting better. Let's move to our third topic. We got Calvin Austin III, who, you know, Zach Azzanni, who's the wide receiver coach, said Calvin Austin is wide receiver number 2. Now, you look where Calvin Austin was 3 years ago, and you look at him today. Was there any chance that you thought this guy was going to be a wide receiver 2? Any chance? Hell no. I mean, he didn't even play as a rookie because he was hurt. Then the next year, you're like, yeah, this guy, I don't know. And now he's wide receiver 2. Now, I don't know if that's going to stick. I don't know if that's even the best option. But what I do know is that Calvin Austin, his second, we won't even count his rookie year because he was hurt. You go from his second year to right now, he doesn't even look like the same human being as far as on the football field. You wouldn't even recognize him. He's so much better. Okay? And that's the point. Guys get better. Now, do we think that he should be wide receiver 2? Let's get into that a little bit. Do you think that's the guy? And then Mr. Leonard Dodd says, nope, he was hurt his whole first year, so I expect big things. Yeah. From Roman Wilson, too. Absolutely. So, exactly, Corey, that you're exactly right. They're out here expecting rookies to break records and win rings out the gate. The age of instant gratification is toxic. I mean, you couldn't have said that any better, Corey Beavers. You couldn't have said that any better. Because if y'all remember, it's not too long ago that quarterbacks used to sit at least a year before they played. There was a few that went out there immediately, but you know what? When they did go out there immediately, they stunk. Think about Peyton Manning. He played his rookie year. He played from day one. Yeah, he set a record for touchdown passes as a rookie, but he also threw the most interceptions. I mean, you know, Manning and the Colts were terrible. It's like everything has to be right now. And I'm like, pump the brakes on that a second, man. No, it doesn't. You know, guys are able to get good. Grace, it's okay to give grace. It's okay to give grace. But getting back to Calvin Austin II, he got better, and this is where he is. But the thing about it is, I just don't know if he's the ideal number 2. Now, we might be playing him there. Maybe it's out of necessity. Maybe the Steelers haven't found anybody better. I don't know. To me, I don't want Calvin Austin III to be my wide receiver 2. And it doesn't have anything to do with him as a football player. It has to do with a fit and where he can be the most effective. That's what I want. Damn that the Steelers, hey, wide receiver, hey, put him where he can be the most effective to help the football team. And to me, that's in the slot. Put him in the slot. And I'm not saying he can't play outside. Not saying that. Matter of fact, wide receiver coach Azani, he basically said because him and DK are so different that maybe outside is what's best. Now, granted, this is still early. It's mini camp. But that's his thought process, is because they're so different and they do things and how they're effective on the field is so much different than each other that they're a complement. They basically complement each other. And I can see that. But is that CA the third? Is that his best way to be effective? And to me, and I understand, look, it's the organization. We want to win, and we got to put him out there. But if he can be more effective, I think that you put guys in positions to be more effective, to fit their skill strengths, that will help you more than if you put a guy out somewhere and you say, okay, yeah, he can do the job. But if you had him in a different position, he could do a better job. And you just put him out there because of necessity. Then as an organization, it's your job to go get the guys. That's my thing. It's your job to go get somebody that would be better suited for wide receiver 2 so Calvin Austin III can do his thing where he can be the most effective. That's what I thought. Clint Taylor says they're going to spread the ball around. Wilson is the perfect slot possession wide receiver, running back out of the backfield, plenty of receivers, Mount Washington. I mean, that's true. But I think Calvin Austin III's got to get his fill. They're just, and you as fans know it, there just wasn't enough, wasn't near enough shallow crosses, deep over routes, up the seam. I mean, dig right. There wasn't enough any of that from Calvin Austin last year. Scissor routes. There just wasn't near enough of that to him. And part of that was play calling. Part of that was offensive line not giving time. Part of that was quarterbacks just wouldn't throw the ball over the middle. Part of it was Mike Tomlin telling them, don't throw the ball over the middle. So that's part of it. So, I don't know. That's my thing. I like Calvin. I just think he's better in the slot. And I think it's on the Steelers. I think it's their responsibility to go find a true wide receiver number 2 so Calvin can do the things that he's best at. I think if you put him in that position, he will be best at that. So that's the difference. That is the difference. That's where I go with it. So, and that's where I want him to be. Trestop says that I blame the lack of blocking. That has a lot to do with it, man. That has a lot to do with it. That's the one thing that, when people, and here's the thing. That's why I love you guys, because you guys are educated football fans. You can see if a play breaks down, why it breaks down. Like, okay, quarterback might drop back to pass. Oh, man, this guy's wide open. Oh, yeah, but he's also 6 feet under the dirt because the O-line didn't block anybody. You guys get it. That's why when I do these all 22s and I point it out, you're like, damn, B, you were on it. I'm like, yeah. I go, it's not always on the wide receiver. It's not always on the quarterback. A lot of times it's the blocking. And it might not even result in a sack. But if I got to run around for my life and I can't see somebody, that's not the quarterback's fault. So, Mason with the super chat. Thanks for supporting channel. If only CA the third was 6 foot. Man, hell, give me 5'10". If he was 5'10", I'd take it. But he isn't. He isn't. So I really think, and this is what I think the Steelers are looking for a wide receiver number 2. I think they kicked the tires on Gabe Davis, and I think they were like, First of all, he's not healthy. How does he help us? He does the same thing that DK Metcalf does. But Metcalf, his route tree is bigger. We don't need that. We need a guy that can consistently go get open. Okay. So I think the Steelers are still looking for that, but they desperately want Roman Wilson to be wide receiver number 2. I think that is absolutely the plan. They want him to be wide receiver number 2 and Calvin Austin to be the slot. That's what I think. Or vice versa. Although I still think Calvin Austin got to be the slot to be most effective. I truly believe that. So that's what I think is happening. That's what I think is happening. And that's just what it is, man. So that would be ideal for the Steelers, too. So Steeler Lee says, guys like Jaden Daniels, Mahomes, CJ Stroud, and others who are a minority have ruined the realistic expectations that rookies will struggle with. You are 100% right. But here's the thing. You can't even throw Mahomes into that. Mahomes didn't play as a rookie. He sat behind, and that's always been my argument. He sat behind Alex Smith. I'm like, hold on a second. If Patrick Mahomes can freaking sit, why the hell can't everybody sit? He sat for a year. Well, they had a starter there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If the guy's not ready to play, he's not ready to play. Like, what was the point of sitting Patrick Mahomes? You had a team that was playoff capable. They sat Patrick Mahomes because they said, yes, we believe in his talent, but he needs to sit behind this guy that can show him how to be a pro. That's the reason. I mean, because if that wasn't the reason, there's no reason to even draft Patrick Mahomes if you don't think that he's good enough to play. So all that kind of stuff jumps into effect. So you're exactly right, Steeler Lee. Trez top the hell. The blocking might be a scheme issue instead of personnel issue. Could be both. But usually blocking is not necessarily a scheme issue when it comes to pass blocking. It's like, can you block the guy or can you not? I mean, every now and then you're going to see a free rusher, but that's usually maybe a miscommunication, but it also could be the quarterback didn't change the protection to where it should have been, or the quarterback knows there's going to be a free rusher on the edge. I got to throw the damn football because we don't have enough guys here to block. There can be that. So Leonard Dodd, super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. CA the third and Roman in the slot are interchangeable, but if I get a solid wide receiver too, the offense will cook. Absolutely. But I think the Steelers are waiting for one of those guys to be that guy. So I think they're waiting. I think they're waiting on Roman Wilson. I don't even think they're waiting on Calvin Austin III. I think he's there now, but I don't think they have the intention. I mean, they'll do it if they have to, I guess, but I don't think that's what they want to do. I really don't, guys. I really don't. Yinzer Joe says the same thing. CA is only number 2 right now because they haven't picked up their starter yet. Yeah. So that's my thing. Everybody's interchangeable. Mr. Vaughn says, I think CA is better in the slot because he's small, shifty, and quick to get open. And I think that's part of the problem. There's so many times I'm going back and doing the all 22s. And again, if you're a member of Steelers Almighty at the all pro level or higher, you get to see the all 22 game film. There's so many times where Calvin Austin gets open quick. Quarterback's not even ready to throw the football yet. It's like the whole timing was off. Like he's open and it's like, throw him the ball, throw him the ball, throw him the ball. And then they wait and they're not even looking. And I'm like, gee, Merry Christmas, what are we doing? Aaron Rodgers will throw the football. If it's a 5-step drop and he's dropping back and he sees, oh, on my 3rd step, Calvin Austin's going to be open. He's going to stop and just throw the football. He's not going to wait. That's the thing that Aaron Rodgers brings to an offense, his anticipation, his understanding of the game. I know there's a lot of people that don't like him. Fine. But it's better quarterback play than the Steelers have seen since 2019. You can look at Big Ben's last 2 years, and I know in 2020 we started 11-0, but you guys are realistic fans. You know the Steelers weren't that good of a football team, and the end of the season showed it. End of season showed that the Steelers were not that good of a football team. We won a couple of games. We were fortunate, but we just weren't that good. So this would be better quarterback play than we've seen in a while. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for. So that's what I'm hoping for. Corey Beavers says it's because seasoned coaches know the rookie talent doesn't have pro-level game speed yet, and Mahomes got to see it, process it before stepping out there. Bad coaches try to fix everything in one move. I mean, couldn't have said it better. Or it's more like, whether they're bad coaches or not, Corey, desperate coaches. Desperate coaches try to fix everything immediately because their job's on the line. They feel the pressure, and they're like, hey, man, we got to do something right now. You can't coach desperate. Your job might be on the line. But if you coach desperate like that, you end up making bad decisions, and you end up getting fired anyway. It's difficult. Never been a professional football coach, but we all watch football. We don't have to be professional football coaches to understand the mindset of a man or a woman. Hey, life is life. I don't care what you do. Anything that you do out of desperation usually does not work in your favor. It usually does not work in your favor. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The effing guy, I think we have good enough pieces for Arthur has put them in the best position to produce a play to their strength. I think so too. Walter says CA is a good wide receiver for Aaron because he gets the ball out quickly, but will not work with a QB like Justin or Russ that hold the ball longer. Exactly. Like I mentioned, he got open quick, and sometimes guys were available, and they just didn't throw the ball last year. Leonard Dodd with the super chat said, better be on the red line. I think guys are going to be where they need to be, man. I think guys are going to be where they need to be. So, but we'll see. Derek Grinder, I do believe he could definitely develop into a number 2. He has the skill set. Who are you talking about, Derek? Are you talking about Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson? So, but yeah, that's where we are right now, Steeler fans. That's where we are. One more day of a mini camp coming up today. I would probably tell you I'll be live later on today after mini camp's over. This afternoon, I'll be on live, depending on what it looks like outside. I may be walking. We'll see. I didn't get to walk yesterday. I'm not feeling good about it, people. I'm on my train, 100 pounds down. I got 70 to go. Got to get to 275, man. I got to get to 275. We're getting closer. 340. We got to get to 275. It's a lot of weight. It's probably going to take me another year to get there, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to get there, and y'all are going to help me. Whether you know it or not, y'all help me just by me getting out there talking to you all. So I appreciate it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, Derek, we haven't seen anything from Roman Wilson yet. We don't know what the hell he could be. We don't know what the hell he can be. We've seen nothing from that man. And I think, yeah, before we even put any expectation on it, it's like, look, hell, I mean, there's a lot of people that say, hey, is Roman Wilson even going to make the team this year? Yeah, I think he's going to make the team. You're not going to give up on a third-round pick. But he's got to show that he can play football. He's got to show something, you know. And if we're being honest, his talent and what he brings to the table should warrant him getting on the football field. But he's got to show it. So he's got to show it. So that's all. That's all. Yeah, Mark, that's a lot of weight. But, man, I was heavy. I was heavy and unhealthy. I can tell you this. The doctor literally told me this. And I'm not being I'm not making up shit. I'm just flat out telling. My doctor's a pretty straightforward guy. Helped me a lot. He just said, and he calls me B. You know, that's kind of a relationship that we had. He said, look here, B. Because I said, hey, man, what can I do here? I go, I'm not feeling good. I'm struggling. What's going on? He goes, B, look, God could take us at any time. God could say you could be as healthy as a horse. And if it's your time to go, it's just your time to go. There ain't nothing that you can do about it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. He goes, however, in your case, if you continue down this path, I guarantee you will be dead in 6 months. That is literally what my doctor told me. And he didn't smile. He said it, and then he didn't say anything. And it threw me for a loop. I was like, well, shit. Okay. He goes, so here's the plan, and this is what we're going to do. I said, okay, man. So that's where I'm at with it, people. That's why I try to walk as much as possible. I'm changing things. If y'all have seen me 16 months ago, yeah, about 16 months ago, I was way big. I was 445 pounds. So, whew, unhealthy. But enough of that. Let's get back to football. Mr. Dodd says, I'm starting to get a little nervous. This offense will actually average 28 points per game now, but I'm still going to drop a 50 every week if we score over or at 28 points. Yeah, in case you all don't know, man, is that Leonard Dodd has told us that every time the Steelers score 28 points or more, even in preseason, he's dropping a 50 spot for Steelers Almighty as a super chat. That has been his pledge to us every single time. So number one, hopefully for the channel, that's what he does. Number two, damn the channel. If we're scoring 28 points, I feel like the Steelers are going to win a lot of football games. Lot of football games. You know, if the Steelers could get, I mean, that's a high number. But the Steelers can score 28 points a week. Lord, I don't think we'll know as fans what to do. I don't think we'll know what to do. So So I'm taking care of myself, Doug. We appreciate it. He said, get ready. A lot of Rodgers to Roman. Absolutely. So, yes, Mr. Bob. He says it's almost like we get an extra first and third round pick this year because we got nothing from Faetanu and Wilson. It's optimistic that we could make a good leap in offensive production. Look, I've said it all along. That's why when somebody was arguing the other day about the line not being better, I'm like, well, hold on a second. Everybody said last year that the line wasn't good or Broderick played bad because he was hurt. Even though I didn't give him that grace, but like, hey, man, he's hurt. And he was. You could see it, but he was still playing bad. His effort was bad. Okay? I don't care if you're hurt. Your effort shouldn't be bad, but it was. Well, now Broderick's not hurt. So if the reason that he played bad was that he was hurt, if he's not hurt, shouldn't he play better? I'm just throwing that out there. And they didn't want to hear that. And I'm like, well, you said he played bad because he's hurt. Now he's not hurt. That alone should make you play better. Okay. Troy Faetanu. Hey, look, he's a better right tackle. He played one game. He was better than what Broderick had done his entire career, the two years at right tackle. He played a better game, just the one game. So if he's playing right tackle, doesn't that make the Steelers better? Okay. Look, Mason McCormick might stink. He very well could be terrible. That could be the case. But he wasn't great last year. He had his moments. He gives a ton of effort. His technique was all over the place. But my whole thing is he just wasn't very good. Do we think, and now again, he could stink, but if you look at it realistically, he could be better. Like they were saying, well, a sophomore slump happens. I'm like, you don't have a sophomore slump when you're not very good. That's not what a sophomore slump means. So you're thinking Mason McCormick will be better. Isaac Seumalo, he didn't have a great year, but if you also think he got hurt before the season started, he missed the first 4 games. So how long was he playing hurt? I would guess with his injury, he was hurt all year. Not hurt anymore, healthy, should be better. Zach Frazier was good. He was really good. Doesn't come to mind as a guy that would have a sophomore slump. The way that he works, that wouldn't be the guy that you would say has a sophomore slump. It could happen, but I just don't believe that he's that type of individual. So I just see the line being better. I see the line being better. So that's all I'm saying. So Rodgers is declining. Okay, Adam. We got it. Hey, we got it. Mark Malone says McCormick looks like he's in shape now, too. I think McCormick was in shape. He just hit that rookie wall last year, and he fell off a cliff. You know, the rookie wall is a real thing, especially when you're jumping up the kind of levels that he jumped up to play football. He's coming from the FCS level, South Dakota State, all the way to professional football. And if you remember, McCormick wasn't supposed to play last year. That was James Daniels that was supposed to play. And they put in McCormick. The only reason they put in McCormick is because, remember, they tried Spencer Anderson, and Spencer Anderson couldn't play. So they put in McCormick, did a yeoman's job for what he could do out there. So I like it. So that's all I got for you guys today, man. I appreciate everybody that got up with this morning. Appreciate you guys showing up and showing out like you always do. Do me a favor, man. Click that like button when the video's over. Hit the like button and get in the comments and leave a comment for us. We appreciate everything that you guys have done for this channel, man, and continue to support. Remember, like, follow, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Thank you. We appreciate you. As always, become a member. If you haven't become a member, the merch is out. If you want to buy some Steelers Almighty merch, it is out there for your all's consumption. I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys, and aloha.